Welcome to Preps Insider. I'm joined by Jay Schwab of the Kane County Chronicle, the sports editor and sports reporter from the Kane County Chronicle, Kevin Drewley. I'm Jim Leo with BATV, and guys, it's time to look at week 2 of the high school football season, and in particular, some of the games around the Tri-Cities, Geneva, Batavia, and the St. Charles schools, as well as Kaneland. A couple losses after week 1 that teams will be needing to rebound back from and win, and one of the matchups that I think is going to be an interesting one is a DuPage Valley versus Upstate 8 matchup. Batavia versus West Chicago. Batavia starts the season with 1 loss, but has a chance to be able to get a win before they go into the Upstate 8. And what's your prognosis on week 2 for the Bulldogs?
It's a game they need to win. It's only week 2, but if you look at their schedule and just considering West Chicago as a program that's obviously a struggling program, point blank, Batavia needs to win this game, and I think from a psyche standpoint, it's one that they want to win pretty decisively. Last week, there's plenty to build on from the Marmion game on the defensive side, and even offensively, Batavia's passing game was considerably better than what we saw out of them last year. But the Bulldogs really need to finish drives. They had a few instances in that Marmion game where they were in position to expand their lead a little bit. Their hurry-up offense really had Marmion on one particular possession stumbling around a little bit, so that's something I'm guessing that they're going to try to keep incorporating a little bit more as the season goes on. But finishing drives and then running in the running game with still trying to find a true number 1 back to replace Danny Seaton. They might continue to do it by committee, but they're going to want someone to emerge as a guy to shoulder at least the big carries in key situations.
Yeah, and the no-huddle offense, I mean, West Chicago doesn't have a lot of numbers on their football program, too, so could even come into play a little bit more and earlier in the ball game this week. St. Charles East and Naperville North, that's quite a marquee matchup for week 2. Naperville North always a perennial champ, really, and St. Charles East coming off a tough game against another really good opponent. Do you see some brighter things for St. Charles East in this matchup?
I think so. Naperville North has a pedigree, like you were saying, and St. Charles East has had that in years past too, and is kind of building it back up again. I know we've got a small sample to go off of, but it seems like in the time he's been there, Mike Fields has been able to make adjustments. And last year they lost these first 2 conference games, including 1 to the same Naperville North team, and then they come back and they run the table in the conference on the strength of that defense. I know that we've said before on the shows just how much they are replacing and things like that, but it seems like they do have the schemes in there to get it back going again, and they're kind of proud to hang their hat on that defense and know that we're going to stop you and go from there. I think they have that kind of resilience and that moxie, and they're going to be able to do that. It's just a matter of kind of finding those kids who are, and then going from there and working off of that.
And Coach Fields, of course, from Geneva, and Geneva has quite a trip. They've got to go into the city, play Morgan Park, another tough matchup. Again, the coast-to-coast Geneva Vikings here in the non-conference season. The Vikings gave up 42 points last week. They go up against another tough, high-octane offense in Morgan Park. Geneva has their hands full, don't you think?
No question, and if there was any doubt about that, I think over the weekend when Geneva took a look and saw that Morgan Park beat Providence, which is a real storied program from the southwest suburbs. So great start for Morgan Park. So they're going to be flying awfully high, and they're a team that plenty of speed, and Geneva, it's clear after that Rock Island game that defensively there's some patchwork to be done, and nothing will exploit any shortcomings like a team that has the kind of speed that Morgan Park has. So that puts all the more onus on the Vikings to be lined up correctly, know their responsibilities, and so if there's not a lot of headway made from week 1 to week 2, they're going to give up quite a few more points this week and put a lot of pressure on their offense. And with St. Charles East looming week 3, an 0-2 start would be a real hole, real difficulty for the Vikings. So obviously they'd feel a lot better about things if they can find a way to upset Morgan Park, and I think people would consider an upset if they can pull that one off at Gately Stadium this weekend.
Now, St. Charles North and Kaneland both visit the far northwest suburbs this week. St. Charles North travels up to McHenry, another team that people in this area maybe aren't quite familiar with. Kevin, tell us how St. Charles North matches up again with their youthful team up against a McHenry team that has nothing to lose and has a good chance to win at home.
It would seem a little better, Jim, than they matched up with South Elgin. I know McHenry has been struggling a little bit of late, and kind of in the same department as North, just graduating guys and kind of rebuilding a little bit. North won this game last year at home. I think they have a pretty good chance this week too. I know we said Coach Fields didn't have much of a sample size. Well, Coach Gould does, and I know that they know what to do with getting things back going. And certainly patching holes on defense is the number one priority. They have to replace all 11 guys. The offense showed okay. I mean, it had more spurts to build on certainly than the defense against South Elgin, but I think that's kind of maybe not a you pick 'em game, but kind of pretty close to a toss up. I think North can go in there and get a win and feel pretty decent going into the conference season.
Okay, and then Kaneland goes up to Huntley, another tough game. But Kaneland, they're going into a different conference after this game than a Northern Illinois Big 12 conference. So conference schedule could be a little easier than the Upstate 8, or certainly what they were running into in the Western Sun. So this Huntley game ends up being a big one. If they can go 2-0 into the conference year, anything could happen, even an undefeated season for Kaneland. Do you think they have to go into this game making sure they take care of business, or are they going to try and learn more things with their running game and get that established as they go into the conference season?
I think they'll do that a little bit to start. Huntley's not necessarily mirror image, but they also run the spread offense. They're a little more run oriented out of it. And last week their quarterback Tim Lykos only threw 11 times, but he's pretty accurate. He completed 7 of those. Bad news was they got off to a hot start against Wakanda at Wakanda, up 14-0 midway through the first, and they go on to lose the game, I think 40-34 range. So there kind of some defensive questions there for them. I think they've got a real good chance of going 2-0 going into the conference, and the loyal viewers will know that we said last week this is actually their furthest trip. They don't have to go very far in the conference. They will next year. But yeah, I think that they'll head into the conference slate 2-0 and get ready to take on the Northern Illinois Big 12.
Anything from what you've seen so far with Kaneland to knock them off their number one perch in terms of area schools so far?
Not just yet. Still early going. We'll see if they can hold that the whole way. But yeah, I think it's a pretty safe spot and perch to have for now.
Teams keep losing the way they have. That'll be a real safe hole as the season goes on.
Yeah, it'll be the fight for the cellar more.
But
than
I think
anything.
they'll be pushed as the year goes on.
Yeah, as we talked about week 1, some strange things can happen. It certainly did. Week 2 should be just as exciting. Guys, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be back again with another edition of Preps Insider.